Camera set. Are you ready to go? Yep, ready to go. So why are you here with us this morning? Well, my name is Daniel. I've had Aspergers since I was 2 years old, and this is my life story and my pitch on why I think I'd be a great film and TV editor. Anything else? Well, what day is it today? I think August 2020 something? I don't know. Can we go to the movie theaters yet with masks and social distancing? No. All right, I guess we're just doing this then, huh? In my early childhood, I was a real mess. I couldn't speak clearly, I couldn't talk to anybody, I had high temper, high anxiety, was hyperactive, you name it. It also didn't help that I was bullied a lot through school, and many teachers didn't really understand how to deal with autism. I had a family of counselors and some guidance I could go to in times of need, but it always was a downer having to be guided like a puppet just to feel somewhat normal. Throughout the bad times though, I've always had movies and music. When I was 7 years old, I went with my family to see Fantasia 2000 IMAX, and I was immediately hooked on the colorful animation and the soaring classical music that accompanied it. After that experience, I knew immediately I wanted to become a musician. I went to an acting camp outside of school where I got to do lots of fun musicals, and I also picked up a euphonium and joined the elementary school band. Not only was music the area where I had the most friends, but it was where I knew I could be myself and feel truly my own element. Plus, it was where I had the best chance of finding teachers who could put their trust in me. The best one was my elementary school choir teacher, Mr. Lavender. He was looking for a big group of kids to put on Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and I decided to audition for Charlie. I loved the idea of being the outsider who got everything he wanted. I unfortunately did not get Charlie, but I did get Willy Wonka.
Come with me and you'll be in a world of your imagination.
That part became bigger than I ever expected it to be. People saw me and they realized, hey, that kid's weird, but he's got photographic memory and perfect pitch. He memorized his lines and songs faster than anyone else. He's got something special. So I knew I had to keep going with it. I kept playing baritone and trombone all the way through high school, but once I hit a certain age in middle school, I couldn't continue with the acting camp I had loved doing. While I had continued success in the band, I had missed singing all the time, so I found a way to fit band and choir in my schedule. I quickly joined the Westlake High School show choir. At the time, it looked like something out of a Disney movie, and I just wanted in on it. I soon learned my fellow freshman class was a group of insanely talented people. They were all super nice to be around, and they were as eager to learn as I was. It was a match made in heaven for me, until I learned about the environment I was stepping into. Not only did the choir director have a super high bar for everyone on top of people already dealing with other activities and AP classes, but the department was designed as if it was a monarchy, so if you weren't part of the leadership team, a teacher's pet, or a favorite amongst the high school kids, it would be nearly impossible for you to make a footprint. I kept saying, just do your job and don't worry about anyone going after you. At the end of my freshman year, I auditioned for the second best group, vocal ensemble, with no success of getting in. But that wasn't the part that hurt. It was that all my other sophomore friends made it and I didn't. So I suddenly was in the lowest tier group, all alone, and I felt so isolated. To handle some of my depression, I resorted to a lot of writing. And by the end of the summer, I realized I was a pretty skilled storyteller. At the same time, I experimented a lot in iMovie on a new iMac that my dad bought, and I was so blown away. I started combining music I loved with random cartoons or home movies and making really silly and unique videos. I think because of my Aspergers, I could connect the filmmaking dots faster than most others could when it came to music and pacing, so I was able to make my videos one of a kind. The more I dove into this kind of technology and the more videos I made, the more I realized I had another gift, that I was a film editor. I started using my position in the lower group as an advantage. I didn't want to think of myself as being bad because I didn't make the top group, but rather as the best person who could lead by example in the lower group. I started videoing dance rehearsals so people could practice their choreography, and I helped edit various promotions and montages for the department. I also volunteered my time any way I could, backstage, fundraising. I did everything I could to stand out in the program. Because I knew if I couldn't make friends through my social skills, I was going to do it through my talent and dedication. Angel eyes, I really love you so. That same year, I beat out a handful of guys for a very tough solo called Pretty Little Angel Eyes, which became Willy Wonka on steroids for me. People already knew of my volunteer work outside the program, so with that solo, it only made things better. It was a perfect storm of events that ultimately helped me get into vocal ensemble. Vocal was incredible because I was finally presented with some challenges. I got to choreograph dances, sing super tough music, and be part of a magical show choir that became in some ways a very tight-knit family. Making friends through my work was easy, but connecting with friends was a whole other challenge. It was the one con of not being in vocal my sophomore year. It was always hard to talk to others, but even when I put my best effort in to try, many of my friends just didn't include me or actively pushed me away. So I couldn't bond with anyone nearly as much as I wanted. I had to stick with my talents in music and editing and keep working hard to not feel invisible. By the end of my junior year, I auditioned for the top group, which was called the class act. There were 2 tenor spots open, and I was one of the only top contenders who had a chance to make it in. I had the receipts to show that I was one of the hardest working members of the program and that I was worthy enough to earn a position to be included in something more. And after all that, I still didn't make it in. I was beyond angry, and I was on the verge of quitting choir altogether. But what stopped me was the family I became part of. I had multiple people come up to me after the results came out who said, "Daniel, you got screwed." I knew I couldn't get my choir director to appreciate me, and that was okay. I had the appreciation of so many others, which is all I could ever ask for. After a while, I discovered music had always been just a lovable hobby of mine, but film editing was something I wanted to go all in for. My options for college were limited because I wasn't a good enough student for most of the film schools. Then DePaul came in the picture and they said, you can either submit your SAT scores or you can write an essay. And you can imagine what I did. I submitted some of my best writing and all the fun projects I made over the years, and I ended up getting in with 1/3 of my tuition covered. Knowing I was going to college was probably one of the best moments of my life. I moved to Chicago where I finally felt free from the chains of high school. I could live my life the way I wanted to. No buddy system, no school standards, and yeah, I made a lot of mistakes. But the best part was I could learn from them and not feel guilty after. I grew up more in my 4 years of college than I did in all my years of middle school and high school. I got to join the DePaul pep band and explore all the great culture of Chicago, so I was able to keep my music roots active while taking the best post-production classes possible. The more I dove into my major, the more I wanted to be part of the movie atmosphere. My unique way of making movies through editing, whether it was through my own independent public domain projects or the short films I worked on through other jobs, helped me accelerate through school at an unexpected pace. I ended up not only getting the opportunity to study abroad in London for 3 months, but through some incredible series of events, got to intern at ABC News and ABC Studios, working with Avid and the post-coordinating department. I mean, I got to work on the freaking Disney lot. By the end of college, I ended up graduating with a BS degree in digital cinema, magna cum laude. If you would have told me all that in middle school, I would have thought you were on drugs. So here I am, out of college, a fantastic resume, a repertoire project to show off my editing skills. Should be easy getting a job from here, right? Well, that's why I'm sitting in front of this camera right now. While I have matured a lot since my early childhood years, I still suffer from high anxiety as part of my Aspergers. I can't carry a conversation easily because I always worry about what's the right thing to say. It's especially tough in interviews because I always worry, do I know what you want in a perfect candidate? Are the topics I want to talk about worth your time? Am I worth your time? My interview skills inadvertently give a foggy description of my character. People want to know my whole life story in a span of such a short time, and while my life is interesting, I don't brag too much about it because it's much more complicated than people realize. I've been lucky enough to have a part-time photography job that has helped me work with all different kinds of clients, from the good, bad, and even luxurious. I've also worked on some wonderful short films, had a few editing internships, and even got Avid certified in 2019. Plus, I've still had time to blog about and review all my favorite newly released movies and sing in an a cappella group every week. Yet the bar seems to always get raised higher. It used to be you need 2 years of experience in post-production. Now you need 2 years of experience in post-production in a specific part of the industry. LA has always made me feel like I'm not welcome, yet I know I can get in. I know plenty of people working today who are on great shows like Bob's Burgers and The Boys who have just as much editing and work experience as I do. So I know it's possible. In these crazy times, there's so many different voices that want to be amplified, rightfully so. But I think people with disabilities always get buried under the political noise. But if there's one thing I know is no matter how challenged we are, all of us deserve at least a shot. We may look at the world differently, we may need some guidance along the way, but no matter what, we always get the job done in some area. But all I want is a chance to prove myself. I've been a dedicated, responsible, hardworking, detail-oriented, and most of all, creative human being my entire life, who's gone through some ludicrous obstacles to get where I am today. All I need is for someone to give me a chance. Whether that chance is a post-PA, an assistant editor, or a paid internship position, I know I wouldn't disappoint. There's a musical lyric from a great show I saw last year called Falsettos. It's in the very beginning and the characters sing, "Love is blind, love can tell a million stories." That's basically the definition of my creativity. My love is blind, in a way, and my love can tell a million stories. I just need someone to share them with. I just need someone to ask, "What's your story?"